What's up, guys? TD here, bringing you the Fallen Protectors in Siege of Orgrimmar. This fight is a pain, to say the least. It's not that bad, but there's a lot of things that require people to pay attention, and a lot of people either don't understand the mechanics or just aren't really paying attention too much, and that's usually the problem that you run into. One of the first things is the rotation. Most groups go by a set rotation of DPSing Rook first, then his ads, then he softfoot, and then an embodiment of anguish will come out. Then you go to Sun, and then she'll create a bubble on the ground and she'll have ads to kill. And every group that I've successfully completed this fight on, that's what we've done and that's what works. So now, one of the things you'll have to watch out for is, of course, stuff on the ground. This happens in a few different forms, but it's pretty basic. But one of the things you have to watch out for is called Inferno Strike. It puts a yellow arrow and a circle on top of somebody. Now, it follows the player, but this is something that you want to get into, because when it explodes, it's a damage split. So if they run off by themselves, they're going to die. Whereas if you get at least 5 to 10 people in it, it splits and it's okay. But it hits for something like 700,000 damage split amongst everybody. So for most classes, that's a one-shot. So make sure you do that. We've had a lot of wipes from people not doing that, so it's a really big deal. Now, as you're going through these different phases, he also does a gouge to the tank that he's facing. The tank can actually turn away to avoid this, but unfortunately in LFR you'll get a lot of tanks that either don't know that or just don't do it. So when he does, he'll run off and start attacking people. He also will randomly hit raid members with a hemorrhage. It'll give them a bleed that lasts, I think it lasts for the whole fight. I don't know that there's any way to get rid of it besides like a bubble. But another ability you have to watch out for is the Bane that Sun casts. This is dispellable, and it does quite a bit of damage, so your healer should be dispelling it off of people to help avoid it completely. Rook does a combination of abilities. He does a lot of AoE abilities. One is, of course, a spinning crane kick, and the other one is like a Fist of Fury that does frontal cone damage. And hopefully you have a smart tank who gets him away. Last raid I was on, I took my monk, and we had a tank who for some reason wanted to tank him facing towards the melee and right on top of he softfoot when we were fighting he softfoot. So we had a lot of melee die from that frontal cone ability because it hits for like 100,000 plus damage per tick. So you only have a couple seconds to get out of it really quick before it'll kill you. Overall, it's not as complicated on LFR as it could be. And really, if everybody's paying attention, getting out of the Tainted Bruise and getting out of the Desecrated Ground, grouping up on the Inferno Strikes, and following the rotation, it'll be fine. Once you get through, I think it's 2 sets of rotations of going Rook, he, and then Sun, it'll get where they'll all need to be brought down together. When you get one of them completely down, they'll basically prepare to heal. They'll stay at 1 health. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And I've never seen it happen, but I imagine it's really bad, because you'll probably have to start the fight all over again. So you need to watch really closely at the end of the fight to make sure that you bring them down evenly, and raid warnings to help your DPS to switch targets is also helpful, especially in LFR when people seem to get tunnel vision and don't want to switch between targets. As you can see, it seems really confusing watching a video of the fight. There's a lot going on at once, and it's not as bad as it looks, but it's one of those personal responsibility fights where you really have to take care of yourself as far as, if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down together, they'll heal up. And if you don't get them all down to if you mess up, it's gonna get you killed, and if you mess up, it can get other people killed. So there's a lot of personal responsibility in this fight, and you just need to make sure that you're paying attention. Right now is Sun's ad phase. There's ads inside the bubble and two big ads outside the bubble that the ranged need to take care of. Because while you're inside the bubble, you take reduced damage, and it keeps you out of that corrupted ground that's everywhere. So I think that covers most of the abilities of the fight. It's one of those fights where practice makes perfect. After you do it a couple times and you get used to what's going to happen, you'll be better prepared for... You should be better prepared. I say that because we had so many wipes with people doing the same mistakes over and over again. And like I said, the Inferno Strike was probably the biggest, because you'll have somebody get it and they'll run off to the side, and you'll even try to chase them down so that you can help them not die, and they will still run away from you. So you might have to pound that into your raid members' heads to make sure that they group up on that. And also make sure your tanks are on their toes with the ads. We had a lot of people die or almost die, take unnecessary damage because the ads were just running everywhere, because the second tank needs to be picking them up. But that's pretty much the majority of the fight. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. It's not bad. Don't do bad stuff. Don't wipe your raid. Public service announcement. But I'm going to try to get more of these videos up in the future. I know it's been kind of spotty here and there for what I get up and what I don't, and I apologize for that. Unfortunately, I'm not like some of the other people on YouTube where, you know, that's all they do all day. I have a job, you know, I'm married, I have things to do besides making videos. Unfortunately, I wish I could do it full time, but I don't make money off this, so unfortunately that's not the case. But I do the best I can. I try to get videos up when I get them recorded, and I'm hoping to progress into Flex. We tried some last night, it didn't go as planned. We need some people to get a little bit more gear to continue on with Flex, so... and probably myself included. And it was really my first time healing. If you've been watching any of my videos, you see I do LFR Shadow, so first time healing, and I think I did alright, but it's kind of hard when you're used to one spec and then you switch to another, especially when it goes from just being DPS to being either a tank or a healer. And that was kind of the majority of the raid. That was the theme of last night. We had, you know, our tanks were normally either a healer or DPS. A healer, myself, was normally DPS. And then we had a few people who were new back into raiding and still needed some gear and whatnot. And so hopefully we'll get some Flex fights done. I can get that uploaded. It's definitely a big change going from LFR to Flex, for sure. The difficulty jump is there, in case you're wanting to try it. But man, this fight seems to take a lot longer when you're watching it and not doing it. Corrupted brew, get out of the corrupted brew, T. You fail. You fail. See, that's what I'm talking about. Simple things. Dark meditation, you get back in the bubble. Range's gonna take out the ads that spawn on the outside when the melee takes care of the ones on the inside. Hopefully you've got good heals, because everybody's going to be taking raid-wide damage right now. Look at that. I was 16 seconds away from my record victory, and we still had so long to go. What a shame that is. But that's the thing about LFR. You know, I love LFR, I really do, because it does allow you to do raiding when you have people like us who don't necessarily have time to be part of a raiding guild, or you play with people who have kind of spotty attendance, but at the same time, you run into so many people who are just don't care, or are lazy, or whatever the case may be. We had last night Wing 2 of Siege, Galacris, first boss. We go in, everything goes well. We had her down, we did the towers, we got her down, we had her down to like 60 million health, I think, left. And people were running the fireballs out to the side instead of running them through the raid. That's a whole other fight I'll get to another time. But anyway, so we ended up wiping, and everybody left, I swear to you, like 10 DPS, all but one healer, and both the tanks left the raid because we had one wipe on the first boss. And it wasn't even a terrible, horrible, oh my god, bad wipe. It was a few people did some stupid things that caused a lot of damage and wiped us when we had the boss most of the way done. So it's like, I don't understand how people are so impatient that if you have one wipe, they just want to bail right away. And of course, we sat there for like 20 minutes, and it said our average wait time was going to be at least double that. And we decided to just leave because it's like, what are you supposed to do? Everybody quits at like the first sign of an actual, problem. People want to bail out. And I understand when you're doing LFR, you're waiting in the queue for a long time. When you get in, you want to get through it and get it done as quick as possible, but stuff happens. At least it wasn't like some of the other ones I've been on where we've wiped 4 or 5 times on bosses, and it was just this horrible big thing. The boss was almost dead. It was a few mistakes that could have been avoided, and no big deal. We probably would have got it next time, no problem, but that's what you deal with. But as you can see, we're bringing these guys down together. We're getting some raid warnings for people to switch between the 3 so they all come down together. And this one actually went quite smooth. All of them pretty much hit at the same time. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you on the next boss. Hopefully I'll get a few more videos up this upcoming week.